There's nothing quite like the freedom of going off to college. For the first time, you have your own space away from your parents, free to make your own schedule, to make your own decisions, and to live the way that you want. But that doesn't mean that everyone is necessarily ready for such responsibility. For many people, college is a time when good, faithful people begin to stray from their faith, not because they want to, but because they don't know how to hold on to what they had in high school. I don't want to see that happen to you, and so here are 3 steps that you must take to keep your faith alive in college, with 3 important caveats. Number 1, go to Mass. Don't overthink it here. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right answer. So much of life is just about showing up, and faith is no different. The Mass is the source and summit of our lives as Catholics. It's basically the essential kit for everything you need: learning about God, helpful advice from a spiritual leader, connection to community, forgiveness of sins, spiritual nourishment, and marching orders for mission. If you literally do nothing else in your 4 years of college to keep your faith alive, make it a point to go to Mass every Sunday. Not most Sundays, not when it's convenient, not when you have free time, every Sunday. In committing just 1 hour each week, more important than any other hour, you lay the foundation that will hold you up no matter what you face. But don't live in the church. It probably goes without saying that there is a minimum amount of time that we want to go to church each week, but I'd like to argue that there is also a maximum amount of time as well. You can't spend every waking moment doing religious things. I love that some university centers have loads of programming for nourishing your faith. Beyond Mass, there are Bible studies, men's and women's groups, praise and worship, rosaries, adoration, novenas, everything that you could imagine. If you wanted to, you could spend every night of the week at church doing churchy things. And I really, really hope that you will not do that. Probably not what you expected to hear from a priest, but I will die on this hill. Faith is lived just as much outside of the sanctuary as it is inside. The Eucharist is the source and summit of our faith, yes, but it is not the entire journey. The Mass does not end with, now stay here for the rest of your life and never leave the safety of these walls. No. It ends with go, the Mass is ended. Go and announce the gospel of the Lord. Go in peace, glorifying the Lord with your life. The operative word here being go. Faith must be lived in service, in evangelization, in being tested and forged like fire-tried gold. You can't be a witness to a broken world unless you go to the broken world, and you'll never know that your faith is growing unless you actually put it into practice. If you want to keep your faith alive in college, go to Mass, but don't live in the church. Number 2, surround yourself with fellow disciples. In high school, socializing is tough. There are cliques, there are hierarchies. Everybody's business is public and reputations hang with people for years. In my experience working in the high school, most relationships are performative without much depth. This could not be any more different in college. In college, everyone starts fresh. There are no cliques and no one really cares what other people are doing. You're friends with who you want to be friends with, and other people generally just leave you alone. It's up to you who you surround yourself with. Be intentional about this decision. Especially at the start of school, when everyone is new, when people are joining clubs and establishing friend groups, make sure you spend some time in church groups and with people who share the same worldview as you. These relationships will get you through the difficult times. They'll offer you accountability for who you want to be, and if you're lucky, will last you a lifetime. But don't insulate yourself. Surrounding yourself with Christian friends doesn't mean circling the wagons against all other friends. Have a support system, but don't miss the opportunity to expand your world. One of the greatest things about college, maybe its most valuable asset to society, is that you have a group of people from all walks of life, from all around the world, all at the stage of their lives when they're exploring and sharing who they are. It's an opportunity for diverse encounters that you will never find again in your life. Have a strong Catholic friend group, yes, but attend the meetings of other Christian groups as well. Interact with Jews and Muslims. Ask questions of atheists. Make friends with international students. Go to events that you have absolutely no interest in whatsoever to meet people who are different from you. And then do your best to learn from them. In hearing other beliefs, you may walk away with nothing more than a stronger conviction for your own beliefs, which isn't nothing, but you may actually find that other people can enrich your faith, forcing you to see it in a way that you never did before. Keeping your faith doesn't mean that you have to hide from everything else. If you want to grow your faith in college, surround yourself with fellow disciples, but don't insulate yourself. And finally, number 3, set boundaries. As much as college offers some much-wanted freedoms, not all freedom is life-giving. Without the constant oversight that you were used to in high school, it can be very easy to abuse that freedom and to get yourself into a load of mess. For some people, this can mean giving in to the wild temptations all around you, parties, hookups, alcohol, and drugs, but for many people, it's the mundane ones to watch out for. Overeating, lack of sleep, laziness, apathy. While some people completely abandon their faith for the crazy stuff, most just slowly slip away without even realizing they're fading. If you want to keep your faith alive in college, it's important to set boundaries for yourself. Before you're faced with temptation, before you find yourself in tough positions, before someone else tells you who you are, make it clear to yourself who you are and what you stand for. These are the things I do, and these are the things I don't do. Being upfront with yourself and others will not only give you clarity, but it will give you the confidence to keep you on the right path. But don't stop growing. It probably goes without saying that we need boundaries, but I'm a big proponent in marking those boundaries in pencil. Not because I think you should be flexible with your morals, but because we rarely know exactly who we are when we start college. Far too often, I see people 18 to 22 who know exactly who they are and where they're going, and so stop learning, stop questioning, stop growing. They bring with them to college a view of themselves, a view of the world that was formed in high school, and think that that is enough for the rest of their lives. They know it all. College is not a time to throw boundaries away, but it is a time to test them, to see if they're still true. It's a time to ask questions, to challenge preconceptions, to move away from the easy answers and half-truths of childhood to the complexity and nuance of adulthood. As bad as it is to go to college with no boundaries at all, giving in to every temptation, it might be equally as bad to go to college with such strict and rigid boundaries that you stay the same person you were in high school. If you want to keep your faith alive in college, set boundaries, but don't stop growing. Because really, keeping your faith alive in college is not about simply holding on to what you had before, just staying where you were. It's about taking the next step. As they say, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. In each of these 3 tips, there is an element of setting a foundation, of holding on to what keeps you on the path you're following, and that's critically important. Go to Mass, make Christian friends, set boundaries. Without these guidelines, your faith is going to collapse almost immediately. But if you want to do more than just stay where you are, you have to stretch yourself a little. You've got to get out of the church and into the world. You've got to make friends beyond the church bubble. You've got to go test what you believe to make sure it is actually what you believe. Keeping your faith alive in college is not an easy task. It takes work. It takes going against the culture at times and standing for some unpopular things. Trust me when I say that I don't envy any of you having to go to college in today's world. But I will say this, you can do it. If you commit to it, if you turn your attention to God and make Him your priority, it will be some of the best days of your life.